Quiet. Just need to chat it up.
Good evening. Lisa and Sally, can you hear us online?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, we're just kind of waiting for another board member to show up. And here comes Betsy. Well, welcome everyone. Today is April 10th, 2025, now 6 p.m. And we're here for the Cultural Tourism Promotion Advisory Board meeting. And with that, go ahead and call the roll. Ryan Gale. Here. Carly Wright.
Here.
Roger Williams. Here. Miriam Zeiset. C. Betsy Vega.
Here.
And then Tony Pasquale. I don't see yet either. Somebody. We have 4 board members in person. So we'll go ahead and give some time over to Chair Ryan.
Thank you, Chris. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone to our April board meeting. So the first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda for April 10th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. So now I'd like to review our typical Cultural and Tourism Promotional Advisory Board year. So during April and May, we will be having the city budget hearings and the initial review of most recent grant approval processes where we just discuss how things went. And then next month will be the City Council budget adoption and the review of grant application criteria for our next cycle and any recommended revisions. It is also distribution of TOT grant award letters and contract awardees. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from last meeting on March 13th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from March 13th, 2025?
So motion.
I have one correction.
Yes.
Just that number 11 is Jane Goodall, not James Goodall, and I don't know that it really makes a difference. But, you know, just.
Thank you.
Yeah. Still spelled correctly, but not the right person. All right. Jane. Thanks for catching that. Spell check when I got that.
No.
So with Carly's amendment, Roger motioned and Carly, did you second?
I second, yes.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion of the approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
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 Minutes.
Okay, motion passes. So now it's time for a public comment, and this is the appearance of persons wishing to address the board in any matter other than those which appear on this agenda. Do we have any people who would like to make a public comment? Okay, seeing no public comment, I'd like to move on to our next item, which are the items requiring action. So the first item requiring action tonight is the acknowledgement and approval of a change in date and venue for one of our upcoming events. So the letter from Festival Corral, Oregon is included with the agenda packet. So the letter essentially says that they would like to move their event, which is going to be hosting a Magnifique by Bach, from their tentatively scheduled date of April 2025 to Saturday, May 3rd at 4 p.m. And they will also be changing the venue from the Elsinore Theater to the Salem First Presbyterian Church. Is there a motion to approve the adjusted event date and time for Festival Corral, Oregon?
I'm going to. We're pass on this. Yeah,
Abstain.
thanks, that thing. I'm going to abstain from this because the Elsinore's connection.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve and acknowledge the change in the date event, the change in the date?
So I so made.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Right? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Okay. The other item of action we have tonight is an open discussion and review of the Cultural, Tourism and Promotional Advisory Board grant approval process. So this is the point where we're going to discuss kind of like a continuation of what we started last meeting of just how things went and any recommendations people have for improving the process. So in the past, things we've done, we've sent a survey to people who have received grants, just asking them about the process. That's something we could always choose to do again if we want to. And in the past, we've also done a subcommittee where a smaller number of board members have discussed a particular issue more in depth. That's on the table as well, if that's the direction we want to go in.
I would like to see further revisions to the application, so I do encourage us to have a smaller committee that use things. And I would appreciate input from our cultural nonprofits to help us streamline that application to make it, I don't know, just stronger as we keep kind of refining it to make it easier on them and on us. And that it also is easier to review and compare as opposed to like numerically and statistically as opposed to long paragraphs that don't actually answer questions.
I was kind of hoping that would have more of our new board members on to be able to discuss how it went for them.
Yeah.
Looks like Betsy's there.
How was reviewing applications for you?
It was a little bit different since I wasn't really knowing what and how things were going. And so but once I was able to get a hang of things, then it was just like, okay, you know, and it was nice to read what each nonprofit put in and what they were looking for. There were some though that I think they were like double dipping. I saw that part of it, but then because I didn't know much of the rules and stuff, so I'm just like, okay, I guess this is what they've done before. And I think during the time too, there was a couple of months where I was like out sick, so I didn't connect as much, and so that's another piece that might have played where I was a little bit absent, so I wasn't there to catch all the information prior to that. I guess as a new member, I think it would be very helpful to sit with someone and go over, and this is what we do, and this is why we do it, to have just that one-on-one interaction and training. It feels like I kind of was like just thrown in, this is what we do, and this is, and I'm like, okay. So I mean, I would like to, for the newer members, to have like that one-on-one meeting, maybe half hour, doesn't matter, 45 minutes of time.
Our fellow board members, like for instance, could I sit down with her and go through like a sample grant and talk about, okay.
Yeah.
I would love to go through it with you because I've been attending TOT meetings for How long have you been on this board?
Since 2011.
Yeah, I've been attending meetings since 2011.
Wow.
I've been on the board for two, I don't know how many years now, a couple. Yeah, so, yeah, so I've got different insight on, and I've been an applicant and I've been a, just hang out and come to meetings and review them now, so, yeah. I would gladly go through things with you and like help to try and answer any questions, because I think also that would help for any future revisions for the application. Just so we can know, like, as someone who's not so familiar with it, what, and grading it or kind of like reviewing it, what you see in it as opposed to, I've been reading them for a long time, so.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Tony's not here, but he had some questions during the scoring process.
Yeah.
I was curious, like,
Can you guys hear me?
I just put in the chat that we lost the
Oh.
audio. I think Chris's connection broke.
I think you're right, Lisa.
Sometimes I email him when this happens. Because if we lost him, he's not seeing the chat.
Right. I don't know if Kelly would know since she's on here, but
Don't know. I'm on my phone, which makes it extra challenging.
oh, I can email Chris.
Okay. I could text Carly. I don't know if she keeps her phone out, but at least I have her.
Yeah, I already texted her,
Oh, you
but
did?
I don't
Okay.
know if she has her phone on.
So what do we do?
I don't know if we should hang up and try and dial back in again.
Maybe that's what we do. I mean, so there's 4 of us in addition to Kelly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, let's just try dialing back in because then Kelly would have to let us in. This is Kara with Travel
Yeah.
Salem.
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
See you in a minute.
Oh, hi, Carly. This is Beth. I was in the meeting and we've lost all of the audio from the meeting. I don't know what happened, but there were four of us that tried to communicate and we got nowhere, so we're logging back in, but still nothing there. So at any rate, sorry. Bye-bye.
Beth, can you hear anything?
I,
I-
I, I only hear you. I haven't heard anything since I've signed back in. I think I'm gonna sign out because I don't think that they're aware that this is a problem.
Yeah, I'm with you. Anyway, that's too bad.
Yeah, I was interested, but there's always minutes, I guess.
Oh, Kelly is messaging us. No, no, we cannot hear you.
Can they hear us? I mean,
I tried going to the YouTube channel and it appeared to be frozen too. So
Same.
yeah.
okay, well, whatever the technical difficulties are, I don't think that they will be, oh, it says they're taking a minute to troubleshoot. I'll hang out for a little while. I've got a message sent to go
Okay.
that if it's not resolved, I'm gonna sign out, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah. YouTube is frozen. Oh yeah, I couldn't get any sound there.
Does one of us need to write that it's frozen on YouTube too?
I just replied to Kelly. I didn't, not to the whole people, not the
Oh,
whole
okay.
group. Just told her that. Yeah, I mean, watching it later is, an option, but if you do have a question or somebody has a question for us, we can't.
No, we can't communicate.
Kelly responds, yikes.
They don't have a public record for posterity, so.
Yeah.
It probably helps with minute taking too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I used to get more into nonprofit, best practices, et cetera. But when you record things, is it is it a record of business or is it only the minutes? Because people say things in meetings you really don't want to in the minutes always.
Yes.
Well, they do keep the YouTubes though, so I don't know if it's
Yeah. Okay, so
saved
she
for a
says
period of time.
we are jumping out, then back in to see if that helps. Of where? Of
So
Zoom.
that may mean that we're going to be disconnected and have to log in again. I don't know. I don't know what that means for us. I'm going to stay the course here for a moment.
Okay, Chris is logging out and then in. That's what she's saying.
I have a barking dog in the background that's a neighbor, so I may put myself, I don't know if you can hear that.
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say I can cut off my audio too.
Yeah, I mean, since the pandemic started, Zoom's gotten so much better at screening out things that are not human voices.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris is logging out of Zoom first to see if that helps.
All this is very fascinating.
Yes. Well, and I have a lot of empathy for this. My first Zoom meeting, I want to say it was like March. I was in Ashland, and we started the week with, "Oh, you just need to wash your hands really well too. Everything's canceled." And I was the board of the Pentacle Theater, the ED of the Pentacle Theater.
Conversations are jumping on.
Oh, there we are. We hear you.
Yeah,
I think we're back.
Okay.
If you hear us,
Yay.
life is good.
Thank you.
We tell
Okay.
urban stories like war stories.
Sorry, we lost you.
Ask them about. I need to do,
Well, they're not on YouTube, they're on
oh,
Zoom.
okay.
So I think they're
But
fine.
one of them knew that YouTube was frozen.
That could be because Zoom is frozen or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll
there,
talk.
two of us tried YouTube as an option and it didn't work.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so where we left off for Lost Audio, we were opening up for any discussion related to forming a subcommittee in May to further discuss revisions to the TOT or, the application process,
So they're looking for volunteers from the organizations that would like to serve on the subcommittee. Any takers?
And it's a subcommittee that only meets once, sometimes twice, to review the grant process and what you liked and what was burdensome. And it's really helpful to have some facility operators for your input from your perspective. Or just grantees.
Yeah, it feels to me like there's a lot of us culturals that aren't on this call that ought to be pulled for that. Personally, Willamette Arts Center is going through a big move, and so I'm not your girl.
I will reach out to the facility operators.
And did you give direction for doing a poll again?
I asked about it and I
Yeah.
said, we should do something.
we can make a motion after we vote on this outstanding item, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yep. Okay, any other discussion related to forming the subcommittee? All right.
I just want to ask, did I hear Carly say that she's gonna send out something to all of the people that submitted applications to see who might want to be on a committee, or did I misunderstand that?
Not all, I was just contacting facility operators. If we want something to go to all, I will give that to Chris.
I'm just wondering if there are some people not represented today that would have some valuable input.
Well, typically what we've done in the past is we've done a 4-question survey of all the applicants,
Mm-hmm.
just to see how things went, and what they felt worked well, what didn't work well, what did they struggle with, and what they think could be improved. And then we'd take and compile that information and provide that to the subcommittee as part of a guidelines, direction for them to investigate further.
So on that 4-question survey, could you ask, would you like to be a part of a small subcommittee to tool this? Maybe that would be a way of inviting somebody to be a part.
Yep, excellent.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Okay, let's go ahead and if we're ready to vote on forming the subcommittee. Ready? All those in favor of forming a subcommittee to review the top order application process, please say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes. And Craig, would you like to make a motion to send out a survey to the grant recipients to get feedback on the process?
Yes, I motion that we send out a survey to the grant recipients to receive. No, not all grant people, all of grant people,
Yeah.
to receive feedback.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Right, any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, are there any additional parking lot items to discuss?
The parking lot list items are at the end of the information packet you have. They are very last page.
For there, okay.
So on that parking lot list, the first one was the one that was last adopted. It's the discussion for increasing capital improvement forwards from their funding level of 10,000 to the level of 20,000. And that was approved back on June 14th, 2023, so 2 years ago. And that meets the council policy C1 allocation of 60-30-10 split. So you're keeping within that policy. Then the other pieces are ones that have been listed or talked about during some of the board meetings. And there are items that can be discussed now. They can be items that you can suggest that the subcommittee take a closer look at. Or it could be something that the board can say that they want to take in action for the next round of funding. So 3 different options.
Yeah, I would say that these would be items that should be discussed by the subcommittee since they relate to the application process.
I agree.
Yeah.
Did you want to read them out so that way everybody can hear what they are and thoughts on each one for
Like being
guidelines?
back in school. I'll read the first one.
And round on that.
Yeah.
Get the long one now. Discuss the idea of tying event grant dollars to performance measures like actual attendance. Example, $5 of TOT funding per adult with a cap of $10,000 max grant award or $8,000 max. Need to review how many events pull 2,000 plus visitors. Think about how this would impact smaller events and their funding needs.
So that one kind of goes back to what's the appropriate metric
Yeah.
for how much funding each application should be applying for.
Okay, I can read the next one. Discuss the idea of limiting the number of event grant applications per applicant, or another option example is to limit to 1 large dollar amount grant or 1 smaller dollar grant. What would that look like? $10,000 and $5,000 range, question mark.
So currently, applicants can apply for 2 event grants. Facility operators can apply for 3 grants, one being a facility operator grant. And then the other one is just 2, could be 2 events or it could be a capital improvement and an event, however they want to mix and match. So along that lines is similar. Did you want to limit the number of applications received or could be applied for each year, or keep it at the 2 for events and then limit the dollar amount, 1 large, 1 small? Those are all options.
Yeah, and one idea we'd sort of discussed that was sort of related to this idea was applicants who submit 2 grant applications that are really similar to each other, like funding 2 concerts, for example, that are, more or less the same event with just slightly different content. Whether or not that needs to be just 1 application for both events that are sufficiently similar, or, a lesser for the second event.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. Because we've also had it so that some groups that put on like a series apply for the series, whereas some groups are applying for individual, like they may have 4 events in their series, but they're applying for each, like 2 of their 4 events, for example.
Yeah, so that'd be a good thing for the subcommittee to try to get some more clarification on or come up
Yeah.
with some sort of policy.
That's when I was thinking about that double dipping, about it's like you get the 10,000, but then you get actually 20 or 30,000, you have 3 events. So that's a lot.
Yeah. Next, discuss the funding level, $10,000 versus $7,500 or $8,000 if the number of applicants continues to increase year after year. Which we've seen. The other thing is, if we're projecting on our current financial situation in this country of tourism, we might not have as much in TOT funding. If we are thinking we might have less, we might need to be assessing, how much we assign to begin with.
Did you say like being a little bit more conservative?
Yeah, because well, we've seen it. We haven't had enough for the last couple years to fund at 100% of what people have been asking for. So I don't know that, I'm not sure if tourism's gonna increase over the next year. Let's cross our fingers and hope that everyone just travels and stays in hotels. But yeah, just thinking with that in mind and kind of, you know,
And I think part of that is that we increased the maximum award to 10,000. And then what happened was we got more applicants.
right,
So it was not one causing the other, but
Yeah.
the combined impact was
Yeah.
greater than the anticipated outcome.
yeah, we've had a regular, like every year I mean, we're
Last year-
steadily getting,
Last year was
yeah.
the most, with
Yeah.
55 applications that we've ever had.
Mhm.
Historically, over 10 years, it was typically be about 32 to 35
Yeah.
applications. And then it started increasing once we got out of COVID to 45,
Yeah.
47, 55.
yeah,
So the word's gotten out that the money's available, and especially when it's 10,000.
Right.
Oh, hey, that's some serious cash.
when you, the effort becomes more worth it.
Yes.
Maybe we should evaluate.
On
What do you
the other
think?
hand, we should keep it at 10,000 with knowing that you have the purview to make it less on an individual basis, or, with the options when there's not enough funding to discuss, options, that gives you the most flexibility.
Well, in some ways, yes, I think it was pointed out last time that for some, because there've been a couple that have, well, people we've seen, like last year, it was reduced, this year being reduced, that maybe some people are applying for the 10, thinking, well, if I only get the 8, then, so they apply and they request as much as possible.
Yeah, they're incentivized to ask for as much money as they can.
Yeah.
That's understandable, man.
I think that metric might
Right,
help
yeah,
to where you just feel more empowered to say, great event, but the price per person needs to look more like this amount.
And the final item is the further refinement to the application questions and possible further character limitations to recipient answers.
I don't know where that came from.
I have no idea.
I think you mentioned that, or, yeah.
Yeah. I probably sound like a broken record with my, I want more succinct answers.
The great thing is she's willing to be on the subcommittee to
Back it up.
Yeah,
review it all and
Oh, yeah.
put it into place.
well, I think it's one of those where it's like, if we refine questions, because sometimes the answers we get don't actually, not that they don't answer the question, but they answer a lot more. So if we broke out a question to be like, okay, if people are answering extra things that aren't there, then maybe we need to have those as separate questions, but limit them. So like, give me one sentence on it, not a page.
Are there any other potential items for the parking lot that have not been identified here?
I just want to point out that Ryan's going to reach out to his
Yeah,
Salem
leadership Salem.
Salem, and our board is getting a little, and we have some people going off in June, so put the word out, get some people applying.
Yeah, I'll do a push for my personal network to see if there, anybody who might be interested.
Ryan goes off in June, by the way.
Yeah, it turns out so.
You don't want to reapply?
No, I think I can apply, maybe that's my.
It's a term
It's
limit.
not 2 terms.
Yeah,
2 back-to-back terms is what we're limited to.
Yeah.
But that's 6 years.
yeah, it's been a long time.
No.
It goes by
Right,
fast.
yes.
I was like, what?
It's been that long?
Yeah, it's,
I haven't aged a day. I don't know what you're talking about.
I joined before we even had COVID, so it's
Oh.
really basics here,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's 2019, it's a great time to join, which it was back then.
Pre-COVID?
Yeah.
After COVID.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was only 19 when I joined.
So, yeah, anything else to include in our parking lot?
I was gonna, I don't know if this is part of it, but it's the date that we meet. Because I lead the pantry, the food pantry. And so it's conflicting where I have to leave there and then I have to come here, where it would, on Tuesday it was perfect because it was just a different day. But this is the second and the fourth Thursday is the one that I lead the food pantry. And it so happens to be one of our Thursdays, so it's a conflicting for me.
What other dates you got, Chris?
Not Wednesday.
You could keep it on Thursday, but just change the week in the month that you have it, so like, you know, the third Thursday or, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like the
it's-
first
Yeah,
Thursday, third Thursday.
Thursday.
But not during, not till 6 o'clock then, but, you know, when.
You're gonna spend the
Yeah,
whole
I
day.
can do that, first or this third,
First or third.
yeah.
I probably want to do the third, simply because that way I can get the data for the fund stuff. Comes out. It's supposed to be about 8 business days, but so the first day of the month, or the first Thursday of the month would probably be difficult to have that data ready and available for the meeting, but the third Thursday would be doable. So
I can do that.
that works for everyone's schedule. Do you want to do 5 o'clock? Do you want to do 6 o'clock? Change time.
I like 6 o'clock is fine for me, so.
I think 6 is fine, if people get off work at 5, then, you know, at least it gives them a chance to, you know, get here.
It's really important to make this decision because these conference rooms are getting booked up.
Yeah.
And they actually bump us because we don't have to pay for a paying customer. But it's still important to get them booked, and if we get bumped, we get bumped.
And we can, I mean, in the past, before we had this hybrid environment, we would do tours, or
Right.
we'd go
Meet
visit a
someplace.
facility out
Yeah.
there.
Which I thought was really valuable.
Yeah, it was nice,
And hybrid's a mandatory requirement now?
state law.
Oh, state law, wow.
Yeah, you have to provide an accessibility to.
Right,
So we can walk along with camera.
I know, I was just like, I mean, everyone's got cell phones now, which are all cameras. We can- Oh, yeah.
Take them all on a tour, I like it.
So, yeah, we can figure that out, not figure that out, it's just. I like the option of being able to go and do tours, so the board members and other people could actually see the facilities and more. Let the facility out there showcase what they do and how it goes. And that's one of the things that I miss because of the hybrid meetings type thing, because it makes it difficult. We are struggling with technology
So, yeah.
in a city facility library complex, but that's something to think about, keep an eye on. We could just not do a meeting, just do a tour.
Yeah.
Say, show up.
I think that's what
That's what we did last
Last
year
year.
in the summer.
yeah. How many meetings do we have to have by bylaws or whatever? How many meetings can we skip to do tours? Because there was a time we would do 3 tours in the summer.
Yeah.
And that was perfect.
There was a time when we would schedule on Saturdays and we'd schedule every week type of thing. Yeah, that was pre-COVID, pre-something.
Great.
We have done hybrid meetings at places that have the ability to host.
Yeah, like that would work at
basic
Willamette
groups,
Heritage
Willamette
Somebody
Heritage,
saying, yeah, would be
probably.
a meeting at Willamette Heritage Center.
and World Beat.
Yeah, well,
We can borrow a
we
thing
have a
just
camera
like
that we can take
this.
with
Yeah,
us.
so just borrow the equipment and set it up.
Yeah,
Right.
that can travel, although we finally charge trouble.
Technology challenged.
Not being charged.
Well, I would be glad to help make that happen. Like to have meetings in other places so that we can. Like still make them still meet all the requirements that we have to meet and highlight our facilities at the same time.
So let me go ahead and think about that and see if we can drop the schedule for that. In the meantime, we just talked about third Thursdays. What about
We need a motion.
third Tuesdays?
I can't do Tuesdays.
We can't do Tuesdays.
I'm in school.
You school for,
I'm getting my master's degree. So, yep, business. I'm getting, yeah, I'm getting my MBA at Willamette.
Nice.
I'm gonna be joining you.
Yeah, NBA buddies.
I'm a Bearcat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Mondays and Tuesdays. And this was one of my catalysts for going for my MBA, so I don't wanna give this up either.
No, we want to
Should.
do it.
We're not gonna make it.
Thursday, fine.
Okay. So in terms of the,
For data.
yeah, so in terms of changing the date, is there a motion to change the date of the meeting going forward from our current date to the third Thursday of the month at the same time at 6 p.m.? Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
We do have two other board members who are not present right now. That who knows if they'll be available.
That's true.
So
It's another meeting on that.
Yeah,
that's our figures.
yeah, we can always do another, motion,
Erin did text me and she said she tried to get on the Zoom, but she couldn't, and she's working out of town tonight.
Happens.
Yeah.
No worries.
So tentatively, our May meeting will then be on the 15th.
That actually makes July better for you. Yeah. 17th. Ahead of a third Thursday? It is, because I was doing this. No, it is the third Thursday, isn't it? I still missed. It's the 10th.
Third Thursday, July 17th.
Yeah, I'll still be home.
I think that does it for parking lot items, unless there's anything else I missed.
Oh, I think that's it.
So let's move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the Cultural Tourism Fund report for March 2025. Up on the agenda.
Share this for the folks out online.
Everyone online still hearing everything fine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Start. Alright. So, good.
We need to talk about Festival Corral.
They've already made a motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need a motion to approve the change of date of time.
I abstained.
Yeah. We have one, two, three, oh. So the TOT collections for this year so far is doing quite well. We're actually at almost 3.4 million collected so far through March, end of March. And last year at the same time frame, we're just barely turning 3.1 million. So it's about a 10% year over year increase, which is actually a pretty good, healthy revenue increase. So that's nice. It's helping to contribute to the bottom line.
Wait, I have a question.
Yes.
Do we know if the hoteliers are charging more for their rooms? Like what? Is it more people or is it just more, it's cost more?
That's a great question. I don't look too closely into the data. Travel Salem does a little bit more of an in-depth review. And I believe that it is partially the room rate increases. The amount of people is about the same. So
Okay.
I think it's primarily the room rates that are driving the higher collections.
Okay, thank you.
Everything else seems to be on par with what we anticipate spending for the year. So even though we spent 3.4 or we received 3.4 million in revenues, we spent 4.8 million. That's intentional. That's part of the budget process. Most of that you're going to see in the city program side of things, and that was the one-time spending of the ARPA funding in the current year to backfill library positions and kids races and movies in the park and stuff. It's being cut or being up for cut for reductions last year. This year, new budget, The remaining ARPA money is 1.6 million is being transferred to the general fund. No idea what exactly it's tied to, but most likely it's keeping positions filled.
And chance and kids relays and water parks are being cut.
And yes, for the new budget, it's still reduced. It's still proposed that without levy revenues that there's going to be 20 people in the library that are going to be laid off, the potential for laid off. 15 parks maintenance, so they'll be shuttering and doing less maintenance services they have available. Recreation is losing a position. So we community events and summer parks program, essentially.
But if the funding,
But if the
levy goes through, then those
then they'll put those back in, and they'll keep them funded at another level. One thing that's won't be returning, at least at this point in time, is the program manager for the community services department admin. That also is the staff liaison to the Cultural Tourism Promotion Advisory Board and manages all the funding for the top fund and the contracts and grants that are approved by the board.
okay, wait, so what does that mean for us?
That means that effective June 30th, I may not have a position with the city managing the cultural tourism fund and taking care of all the payments.
And if we don't have you,
Supposedly they'll find somebody else to take over the workload, but that aspect has not been disclosed to anyone yet.
when does it get disclosed?
It may come up in the budget committee meeting if there's questions asked of the CFO and city manager as to what's happening with that position and funding that normally covers that staff liaison.
If advocates of a cause ask,
Yeah,
it gets addressed.
okay. Okay,
Other than that, the funds, the cultural tourism funds are still intact. And the recommendation for the grants and facility operator funding and all that is still intact. It's just they don't have a position to manage that. Let's see.
hard to manage volunteers without
Without somebody directing.
to manage.
Yeah. On the monthly collection, this is always in 1 month in arrears. So even though it says March, it's for February activities that the hoteliers saw overnight stays in, and we have 30 days to make that payment. So it comes in for March. So we actually got 392,000, almost 393,000 for that same time frame, which is 10.3% increase year over year for that same month on a monthly basis. And you can see on a monthly basis how the revenues have been coming in 6%, 13%, -8%, -5%. So it fluctuates depending on what kind of activities are taking place and who's staying overnight. But overall, we're projecting to be somewhere between 6.4% higher than last year's total collections to 10%. So there's about 4% leeway straight. Find out how the next few months come in. But other than that, it's a healthy fund.
Okay, so moving on to our next agenda item, which is our facility operating grant reports.
I'll just go back up to the top, so I'll read the summary. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to read the application or read the reports that were received. So, so far, there's actually 3 more facility operator reports that came in today. So I did not include them in tonight's meeting. But the ones that did make it through for this report is we have the Salem Art Association's second quarter report. We have the Salem Riverfront Carousel's third quarter report, and Willamette Heritage Center's third quarter report. So for all the facility operators out there, now that we've gotten past April 1st, the next quarter can be reported for the January through March information. It can be submitted and you can receive your final grant payment for your facility operators. Event grants that came through so far are Salem Main Street Association for the Downtown Holiday Parade, Salem Orchestra for the Snowman events, and Sasquatch Sports for the Capital City Classic basketball tournament last December. We still have about 20 or 21 events. Events for the most part. There's one capital improvement, but the rest of them are all events that are still going to be taking place between now and June 30th. So as they are completed, they'll need to submit their reports and receipts and process. Okay.
All right. So I already touched on event grant reports and no capital improvement reports, as Chris noted. So now we can open up for a roundtable discussion and appearance of interested citizens, and this is the opportunity for those attending the meeting to address the board and share upcoming events. All right, start our in-person. Kathleen, any upcoming events you'd like to share?
But actually do on Saturday, this Saturday, from 10 to 11:30 at the Olympic Gallery, there will be a lithograph class. We can host up to 20 people in the gallery. It's $30 a person. Our husband and wife team from Coralville Handicrafts are coming down from Portland, and you will get lithographs of butterflies and then decorate a nice, lovely living frame to create it. You can experiment with different games and different papers as well. That should be a lot of fun.
All right. Okay, how about persons online?
Beth, you're up. What's happening in your neck of the woods?
Yes, I finally got my audio on. Thank you for asking. Our Kaylee of the Valley Society has a Kaylee tomorrow night at the VFW Hall. Doors open at 7. Short dance lesson at 7:15. Live music is from 8 until 11. And the band is going to be comprised of all women, and it is a Kaylee band. And I believe there's going to be 8 people on the stage doing that, and 4 different individuals are going to share the calling experience. Again, all of those are women. So fun time. Family rate of $40. Adults who are not members are 10, students are 5. Children 12 and under free.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Sally, the Elsinore.
We have got a busy month coming up. Tonight, actually, Dr. Jane Goodall is on the stage right now. And then Saturday is Pink Martini 30th anniversary tour. Then we have on tax day, Salem Reporters Town Hall regarding the property tax levy. And then we have a rock show, Pop Evil, a blues show with Robert Cray Band. And then we have, we just announced a new show with Sean Aker. Am I saying that right, Carly? He is a kind of got famous on TED Talks and talks about happiness and how to live a happy life. So that should be good. We've got Oregon Symphony coming for Vivaldi's Four Seasons on May 4th. And then ballet on May 11th with Oregon Ballet Theater's OBT2. So lots of stuff coming up. Come see us.
Thank you.
and Lisa Joyce from Willamette Arts Center.
Thank you very much. Thank you to the board for all your hard work. And Chris, I'm rooting for the levy, so I'd hate to see you go. Not that I get to lobby here, but upcoming at the Willamette Arts Center, we are winding down to be off the fairgrounds by June 30th. We've identified a very good potential location, assuming we can work things out with the property owner, that will give us excellent visibility, more space, and a space that's better suited to what we do, and already has ADA accessible bathrooms in it. Big goal for me is to make sure our facility is very, very accessible. In the meanwhile, we're running our last session in the current location, and that includes our Family Clay Sundays. Our last creating day will be May 4th, Sunday, May 4th. And I hope people, will come and take advantage of it. It's going to be, bittersweet that we've been at the fairgrounds for almost 20 years. Our fundraising goes better every day. Recently received a $10,000 donation, and then today received a $20,000 pledge. So we're doing well on that front, bringing in the funds to support this move that we're undertaking. Our plan is to be packing by the middle of June, so no more clay, no more activities. So we'll definitely have a little break in service, and hope to be up and running as soon as possible. So that's our news. We've looked at a lot of buildings. So people ask me, like, did you look at this or that? Yes, I did. It's been a challenge. So appreciate the TOC grant. We will be in the city limits. We will have something in place before probably the end of May.
Good luck with that.
Good. Okay, so everybody.
Yep. Well, that's everybody. So the next meeting will be Thursday, the third Thursday, which is May 15th.
Okay, and I'm assuming there's no other parking lot items that we haven't discussed yet, correct? Chris, any final things, everybody?
Well, it's still light outside, so go enjoy the wonderful evening.
Yeah.
Go downtown, go to the park. Whatever.
That's good. In that case, meeting adjourned.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.